Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to a best of 3 series of professional StarCraft 2. Spawning here in the bottom right hand corner in game number 1 of this best of 3 series, playing with the red Zerg drones, we're looking inside of the main base of Armani. His opponent in the opposite corner with the blue Terran pieces, likewise also from South Korea, we have one of the strongest Terran players in the world and he goes by the name of TY. Alrighty, so here we go. Now, I'm assuming everyone is familiar with the name TY at this point, right? I mean, if you've watched top-level StarCraft 2 ever since, like, the early days or at any point really in between, you're probably familiar with the name TY. This guy's ridiculously good. Recently winning a GSO Code S over in South Korea, which is a very, very prestigious tournament. The guy's ridiculous, and we know that he is currently in shape. Now, several of you have reached out to me recently that Armani has also been showing some very stellar results, especially in online tournaments. Now, Armani, I mean, I obviously watch and cast a lot of StarCraft in general. I'm certainly familiar with his name, but I can imagine there's a lot of people that are not so up-to-date on this man's playstyle. So, I didn't actually realize this either, but I just looked it up. He's been playing StarCraft 2 professionally ever since 2011. At the very least, that's when he played his first pro-level game. Now, obviously, that's been a little while, and he's always been kind of just below that highest skill level. And in a way, that's a little bit sad, obviously, but I guess it's just the way that things are. Doesn't mean, of course, that he's not going to have his chance to be at the top level either, especially since apparently his skill level has been going up again recently. Now, I did cast a couple of his games in the past. If I'm not mistaken, he's a big fan of that playstyle where you basically make a ton of drones, and then you just throw army after army after army at the opponent. So, what we notice from, for example, like the players like Serral, they generally speaking play a little bit more passively. If I recall correctly, Armani loves to just simply throw away lots of stuff and basically just pile on the pressure in hopes that the opponent eventually does roll over. Now, where is this little SCV going? Is it just scouting? I doubt it. I think that this is going to be a cheeky little starport on the other side of the map. At the very least, I would not be surprised. Maybe he's just scouting, though. Maybe there's a little bit of history between these two where... no, I don't think it's a scout, man. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, right? Anyways, they are actually on the same team, so that's why I bring that up. So they're both actually on the team Africa Freaks, which is kind of interesting. So maybe they like practice against each other regularly, and he knows something that that Armani is, or sorry, maybe TY knows something that Armani doesn't. But it's just gonna be that starport right over here inside of this little nuke, very close to the main base of the Zerg. Very, very unlikely that this is going to be scouted unless he, like, reroutes this Overlord to get in that direction. But generally speaking, in the early game, what we see with Overlord placement is obviously the first couple tend to go across. But then after that, these Overlords are basically going to be guarding the perimeter of the creep so the tumors can be pushed forward without them, like, getting sniped right away. So, by the way, when it comes to being teammates... the players that are on the team, I just looked it up, they're Armani, DRG, Su, Stats, and TY. Which is certainly a very, very formidable lineup. Apparently, they actually, on Aligalek, just overtook, what's it called? Jin Air Greenwings as the highest ranked team in SC2. Now, obviously, you gotta take that with a grain of salt because there's really no team leagues going on anymore in the game. But, yeah, there's no denying that it's a very formidable team, and there certainly are some benefits to having team members, especially when it comes to practice. Now, this is curious, though. It's a medevac first. Now, obviously, this will arrive like 30 seconds sooner than it normally would, so let's have a look at how many worker kills he can actually get, because here we go. The Hellions have already arrived completely unscouted. Now, a couple of links just spawned right over there. You know what? 3 drones. Yeah, in exchange of 2 Hellions. Not bad whatsoever. There's going to be a Liberator right now as a follow-up too. Already, though, a Roach Warren was made, so I think that Armani is actually looking to pile on the pressure here too, man. That's a very quick Roach Warren. Double gas in a natural right now as a follow-up too. TY does scout the lack of workers over at the third base, which is a huge indication that something is not quite right. Liberator finishes up. Yeah, it's gonna be routed straight home. Okay, so he knows that something's not right. He scans right now in the natural as well, so he sees the additional gases. That is not something we normally see in this matchup. So Ravagers are gonna be the name of the game. It's a couple of Ravagers, a couple of Roaches that will be moving across the map. Now notice though, he's droning behind it, right? So this is by no means gonna be an all-in right here by Armani, but it's a nice aggressive start. I like this. Not a lot of players play this anymore. It's a bit more old school, I suppose. I guess it might work out really well though if the starport is over there, because he's not going to be able to add on a whole lot more. Now, I love the fact that he decided to bring that Liberator home. That being said, how many Ravagers are there? There's 3. Where's the third one? Oh, there it is. I was a little bit late to the party. It can be biled down, but, oh, perfect response time right there by the GSL champ. And this is obviously going to be held without too much problems, right? Too many problems. I mean, maybe he's going to get a supply depot, maybe a couple of Hellions, but there's a siege tank, there's a Liberator. As long as TY doesn't royally screw this up right now, he should be in a perfectly fine position. Now, obviously, this is still something where Armani wants to deal as much damage as he can, especially now with the second tank done, though. I mean, what are you going to do? There we go. Couple of biles here and there. Medevac, though, is going to load up a couple of those units and bring them back to safety. And you can see, like, he's trying to push the army right here to the very limits, but this is so risky, right? Like, one additional shell right there of those siege tanks, they could just finish up, like, 5 of those Ravagers all at once. He does get a Liberator right there on his way out, but he is indeed going to be going on home. Third command center was made during all of that, because, of course, TY recognized the scenario that he was in. A lot of people would be like, okay, I'm not going to start up my third command center right now, but maybe he already started it, then he just didn't cancel it, or maybe he just felt confident he was going to be able to hold that. Regardless, we're setting ourselves up for a nice little macro game. Already full 3-base saturation. Now, luckily here for Armani, he did send those Ravagers back home, so he's going to be able to defend the third base quite easily. One thing to note, whenever you go for like this aggressive push, your creep spread severely suffers. Because if you go for that push, right? Oh, well. We also see that there was a little bit of multitasking that was lost apparently during the aggression. But you obviously cut down a couple of drones, but also a couple of queens in order to actually, you know, send all of those roaches across the map. And this does make follow-up pushes here from TY quite a bit more potent. He's going to be going for that standard bio approach in this game. I hope he's going to be showcasing some different styles as well. I'm a big fan of, you know, seeing some different strats in Best of 3 and Best of 5 series. Recently, like, for a while, we only saw this strategy, but recently, once again, Mech has started making a bit of a comeback. I actually thought that it was gonna be gone for quite some time, because it seemed, especially with the new balance patch, that bio was just simply the better approach. But, yeah, not quite. Mech, once again, making a bit of a comeback. Alright, well, no real damage will be done. I mean, TY knows it, right? He also knows that he doesn't need those Hellions really anymore. They're nice to have, but these are units that he can throw away at this point. Losing one Medevac, of course, pretty forgivable as well. Spire was created during all of this, so Armani is going to follow this up with Roaches and then also Mutalisks. This is another one of those things that's kind of weird, right? We don't really see Mutas together with Roaches and Ravagers that often. That being said, though, these are obviously the leftover Ravagers from earlier. He is making the transition towards the Ling Bane army instead, so not getting roach speed or anything along those lines, but it's just a bit of a funny unit composition. Normally, right, when you play the Muta style, you want to waste, you want to throw as much gas on Mutalisks as you can, and since the Ravagers are very expensive units, you don't actually just want to, like, you know, make too many of those, because it lowers the amount of Mutas that you can make. Anyhow, looks like the Terran army actually has decided to go all the way back home right now, which is kind of curious. Maybe he saw what he was going up against, and he realized, you know what? I don't really need to fight right now. I'm gonna maybe hit a timing attack when 2-2 finishes instead. So you can see right here the double engineering base are researching very aggressively. In the meantime, though, on the other side of the map, we see a very similar timing right there for those evolution chambers too. Infestation pit is coming up, and well, relatively passive approach. Yeah. Neither player really looking to get a whole lot done. Now, Armani is a big fan of just simply making a lot of drones and then throwing away army after army. Players like, for example, Cero like to play a little bit more passively in these kind of scenarios, but I would not be surprised if we see him throwing away a large amount of stuff here in just a little bit because, well, he's just about to be maxed out. And he's got a decent economy right now as well, right? Especially once this base finishes up, he's going to be able to pile on a lot of resources very quickly. That being said, on this map, it is pretty difficult to get a proper hit in, right? I love the building positioning right here as well. This is a nice little wall over here to prevent any banelings from being able to get in there very easily. The sensor tower obviously spots incoming units from a mile away. And then also those siege tanks in very clever positions. They're preventing any units from just simply rolling up those ramps for free. That being said, the fourth base, while a little bit more vulnerable, there's Widow Mines burrowed over there and then also a planetary fortress. Is he just gonna go straight up this ramp? Oh my god, this is what I mean. The guy loves throwing away lots of stuff. Oh, that seems like such a bad fight. Okay. Yep, that's not the most ideal scenario. If you look right there at resources lost, oof. Big hit right there to the amount of units available for Zerg. But obviously, you gotta always take this, you know, amount of economy, like the total economy that they have at this point, into account as well. There's a lot more income right now coming up for Armani. And while the Terran player is busy re-establishing defenses in that location, the mutas are gonna finally be able to get a little bit of damage in. Ooh. The Thordo and the Zerg, or sorry, the Marines getting a nice bit of damage done as well, but most of those Mutalisks do stay alive. Now, TY at this point is maxed out. He goes straight into 3-3. I think he wanted to hit a timing attack with 2-2, so he was already marching, right? And this creates a bit of a strange situation for him right now, because if he wants to go for the push, he knows for a fact that Zerg is gonna also be able to finish up their 2-2 upgrades, which kind of, you know, negates the entire timing window that you usually are aiming for. Once again, man, look at this guy. He's fighting off creep so aggressively. That seems to be one of the golden rules of StarCraft, right? When you're playing defensively, always fight in a advantageous position. And, well, for Zerg, obviously, that's creep. One of the most common mistakes, actually, by new players. Patience is a very, very important thing for StarCraft players. It's one of the things I struggled with for so long, man. Whenever I saw a Terran army move out, I was like, go kill it! Go, my Zerglings and Banelings! Roll forward and die! Rather than fighting on creep, right? When you think about it, you get so many benefits from fighting on creep. For example, the fact that Terran can't just stim and run away against Banelings, right? Like, they're not going to be able to get into a comfortable position so easily. Anyways, Armani apparently not scared to engage off creep once again, goes for that move. Now, those Widow Mines, they're kind of traitorous right there to the Terran army. At the same time, by the way, it looks like, ooh, there was a big run-by over at the third base. One of those expansions got cleaned up, and he's also doing an excellent job dealing damage over here. Okay, yeah, that army is gone right now. Armani manages to secure the economical upper hand, but TY is re-establishing himself right here in the northern section of the map. The muta count is actually pretty high, 16 mutas at this point. Widow Mine does get a nice connection in, but that base will be cancelled. He's probably going to place down this orbital command in that location instead, but right now he's got enough right now as well to go after all of those missile turrets. Lings and Banes once again moving off creep. Very dangerous territory because there's a lot of mines located everywhere. Just trying to see how much damage he can do right there with those mutas. Just darting back and forth between the third and the main, and, well, so far it's very, very successful. Planetary Fortress, though, is finishing up. But, I mean, if you look at the bank, Armani is getting to the point where he can very, very easily max out multiple times. Now, this is a bit of a gamble. TY loads up like 20 supply worth into Medivacs and just barely goes past that vision. I don't even know how that happened, man. The Zerglings got a lot of vision. And also, obviously, you know, those mutas themselves. They once again run forward and fly forward. At the same time, small little skirmish over here. Looks like these Terran units will be cleaned up just fine. Ravagers from earlier on still available as well. Both players right now flexing their multitasking muscles. A little bit of, oh god, is he gonna get it? Oh my god, he will? Whoa, with the final Marauder shot. That's crazy. Okay, I was gonna say, that seems a little ambitious, but apparently he knows better than me. That's why he's a pro gamer. I guess I play games for a living, but a little bit of a different kind of pro gamer. Anyways, we do have TY sniping that base, and that is actually very important. There was no additional base taken there on the high ground yet. Obviously, the expansion here on the right is very helpful, but if TY can get a snipe on that too, that would be an absolute game changer. Yeah, this base will be evacuated. At the same time, Terran in a little bit of trouble at home as the mutas and the Zerglings are once again trying to run by. And while maybe a couple of mutas, or a couple of ultras rather, die in unison, While maybe he's going to be able to snipe the base over here, he's losing a ton of stuff at home as well. Armani going straight for the counterattack, man. I love the aggression here. Just super, super, super aggressive. Ready to just go in for the counterattack at a moment's notice rather than trying to defend his base. It's like, okay, if you lose one base over there, I'll take one of yours, and that will still be a net positive as I'm double expanding in the bottom left-hand corner at the same time. 27 SCVs fall just like that. Well, he's not done yet. Looking to roll some Banelings and a couple of Zerglings there into the natural mineral line as well. TY, not anticipating that big counterattack, is now going to have to deal with another attack wave towards his planetary fortress up north. Beautiful game right there by Armani, and he does obtain the victory. I do love watching that macro-focused Zerg style, right? With the Mutaling Bane and then the Ultralisks and multi-pronged harassment and fighting and running around the map. It really does feel like a swarm, right? For a while, I mean, I critiqued this a lot a couple years ago with the Brute Lord Infestor style, which is what every single Zerg player was going for in the late game at that point. They were just simply focused on getting the you know, kill-it-all Zerg unit composition. And while it was strong and we did see some good results by Zerg players back then as well, it didn't really feel swarmy, right? It didn't really feel like StarCraft 1 Swarm, and it didn't really feel like, you know, the lore that I think about when, like the fantasy, I guess, the lore fantasy that I think about whenever I think of the Zerg. And I think about the Zerg a lot, not gonna lie. Anyways, that game right there is the Zerg dream, right? I think if you're like a game designer working on StarCraft 2 back in 2000 and I don't know, 9 or 8 or something, right? When they first really started narrowing down their approach for the game, I think that kind of game is what they probably had in mind when it comes to top level StarCraft. That was pretty sweet right there by Armani. Love the counterattack, very, very aggressive. Certainly playing a little bit differently than other top level Zerg players. Now, TY, I mean, like I said, this guy is an absolute menace. Certainly didn't make any, like, huge mistakes that game. He tried a bit of a cheeky approach in the early game, obviously, with, like, that medevac and stuff. And, well, he defended really well at home. He was completely thrown off of his timing attacks. And with the Zerg player unchecked, you know what happens, right? Very, very quickly, the Zerg just simply take their side of the map. And they will be able to continue you know, establishing their dominance. If you don't grab the tempo advantage, it's very, very difficult for a Terran player to come back in those kinds of circumstances. And Zerg is just, you know, throwing away wave after wave after wave of army. It's difficult to take efficient trades against exactly that. It just takes one little slip up, a couple of Banelings inside of a mineral line, and it's game over. This time around, no cheekiness here whatsoever by TY. I mean, he could still send an SCV into a weird location. This map does feature this, like, back path, right? And I've seen a lot of Terran pushes focus on this location on the map. Basically, what you can do is you can put siege tanks right over here, right over there, or if the mineral patches aren't mined out, you can obviously put them right over there too. And basically what you do is you load up Marines into Medivacs and then you push across. It's very, very difficult to break for a Zerg player that's not focused around Mutas. We'll see if TY wants to go for that. You could actually notice right there the Overlord scout as well for Armani. His first Overlord went all the way up here. This is a very popular proxy location right now on this map. A lot of Terran players love putting their first couple of barracks in that location. That being said, I casted a series very recently where Solar showed us how to defend against that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it involves mining out this and just expanding over there. I'll go ahead and post a link to that video down below in the description of this one. Very aggressive third command center coming up here by TY. I'm a big fan of this build. I think it's awesome. It does leave you vulnerable to the Roach Ravager aggression that we saw in the previous game. So if you're not going to go for a blind Banshee, it's kind of like, well, it's not necessarily all in, but you're in a lot of trouble if the Zerg player goes for a Roach Ravager push. We normally would see the Roach Warren being thrown down right about right now, though, and I don't see anything coming up that would indicate that. He is adding the drones back into the gas geyser, but we'll have to see here what Armani decides to go for here as the game progresses. Yeah, so I love this build where you go like barracks, factory, third command center, starport. If you also go tech lab on the starport and go a Banshee first. This one, it's a bit more of a gamble, and like I said, if you go up right now against a Zerg player who's going Roach Ravager, he'd be in a world of hurt. Very risky, obviously, especially when you're 1-0 behind. I guess Liberators can be quite okay as well for defending, but, I mean, I've seen many Ravager Biles just simply get rid of those units very quickly. Whereas if you go for a Banshee first, which is usually what both Innovation and then Maru play, if you go for a Banshee first, you just automatically counter those strategies. And, well, Banshees are still very useful when it comes to harassment as well. Armani, though, with the brilliant Overlord movement, man, I gotta say, he's playing some clever StarCraft. First moved that Overlord over there. Then he moved it all the way across, and then it scooted around the back of the main base there, or rather the natural expansion there of TY, to see the main command center right over there in that corner. Nicely done there. Armani seems to be on point in this game so far. This does now open up the opportunity for the Zerg player to go for double Evo rather than the Lair first. So broadly speaking, there's two ways that Terran players usually go up right now against macro-based Zerg builds. Generally speaking, it's either the bailing speed first, where you go and you don't really know exactly what it is you're going up against. Looks like the Liberator, by the way, got sniped. But if you don't know what you're going up against, usually what we see is like 4-minute bailing nest right over there, and then like, I don't know, like 420, 5-ish minute lair. So you can start a bailing speed very quickly. When you know, though, that it's a very economical focused Terran opener, like is the case right here, you can go for the double Evo first and then go for the lair and bailing nest. Because you know that you don't really have to deal with like a Hellbat push or something super aggressive like that. Anyways, here we go. A couple of Hellions are roaming the map. Whoa. What announcer pack was that? Well, it wasn't the Loko announcer pack. Did you guys know that when you pick up the Loko announcer in-game, I actually get a percentage off of the sales? You should go get it, man. I'm just telling you, you know, like, I'm just letting you know. That way, you can have me shout at your games. For example, if you play Protoss, there's something along the lines of probes and pylons, you forgot the pylons! When you get supply blocked. But obviously, you guys are all top-level players and you never get supply blocked, right? So, maybe you never hear that. Anyway, Mutiling Bane, once again, is going to be the name of the game. That rhymed unintentionally. Also, once again, the good old Marine Siege Tank style. This is classic StarCraft 2. No damage being done here whatsoever by TY. But notice, with this kind of build order, where you go for the third command center this early, especially when it's a gold base, you don't really need it. Right? You don't really need to deal damage, which is why I like it so much. It seems like these top-level Zerg players are getting really good at defending everything. Now, this is nice. Okay. TY making me sound like a really smart guy. Thank you, TY. He's going for that push that I tried to explain earlier, where you put the siege tanks right over there and then the marines right over there, right? So you bring the medivacs, and you can even rally units right over in this direction too. Attempted Zergling run by to the natural of the Terran player, but that's not gonna happen. And this is so difficult to break. This is so tricky to break. How are you gonna break this? Well, obviously, one of the options you have is just a full-on counterattack. There's 6 Mutas coming up, but 6 Mutas. Are they going to break this? Love the fact that TY also decided to leave a couple of those Marines behind, which is really quite smart. Well, that was a little bit sloppy, I guess. Could have saved a little bit more there, but he already got a lot of damage done. And the cool thing is, right, you can continue the harassment for quite a bit longer if you send reinforcing units in this location too. And oftentimes you can force this main base to be completely evacuated. If you can kill the main base, that would be a disaster, because Armani got all of his tech over there as well as the lair, and then, you know, things come crumbling down very quickly. It's like a house of cards. Very easy to, yeah, if you manage to, like, get to the soft underbelly right here of the Zerg to then go into a big advantage from there. And look at that. Whoa. There's a lot more Marines and siege tanks heading in this direction. He's trying, man. Armani, right now, like, this is like playing the roulette table. He tried to just simply right-click the Marine, or the Mutalisk right there on one of those units. Didn't quite happen. Now, oh my god, that is something. He's dropping mules to mine out these mineral patches. Now, mules, they mine, like, what is it? Like 20 to 25 minerals per trip, if I'm not mistaken. So they can actually mine out those mineral fields right away. That is pretty clever. I've not seen actually that before. Now, at the same time, big Zerg counterattack right over here, but it looks like TY has more than enough to defend against that. A couple of Hellbats right here on the front as well to soak a couple of those Banelings. He's anticipating a big surround right now as well, with Lings and Banes coming from the back. None of that is actually happening, though. And this is what I mean, man. How are you gonna break this? I don't know how the Zerg player would break this at all. Beautiful move here by TY. Oh, the target firing right there as well by the siege tanks. You saw that? He right-clicked them in the middle of that that Baneling pack. At the same time, though, a couple of Banelings are attempting a nice little roll by. So 5 SCVs fall, and that's nice and all, but I don't think that's gonna justify losing, you know, the main base. Well, I mean, he's dealing quite a bit of damage right now. Well, I say that. He's obviously getting some very good trades there, but I think the real action is over here, right? Which is forcing some multitasking here from TY. Actually, you know what? It's starting to add up. Yeah, he had a lot of reinforcements somewhere else. Ooh, one Baneling, obviously, could certainly change the tide of battle right over here, but the main base is starting to take damage. And once that one is gone, the main base will also be very quickly cleaned of creep. And that's gonna make this... Oh my god! Oh, once again, nice targeting there. It's gonna make this game so much harder to play. TY darting back and forth right here, showcasing some excellent micro. Falling back to the siege tanks whenever the Zerg player advances. And, well, I am pretty sure that that lair is toast. And down it goes. Nice. Okay. Now, 2 options right here for TY. He could back up. Judging by the fact that he's unsieging, I think that's his plan. Alternatively, he could also just continue harassing here and even, like, get the siege tanks to the high ground. You're just gonna be spreading yourself very, very thinly at that point, and you kind of set yourself up for surrounds at that point too. So I don't really mind the idea of, like, sticking around for a little bit longer, but you probably don't want to go overboard. Once again, another Zergling run-by. And you know what? These Zergling run-bys, they're not really well defended here at all. Like, this is kind of sloppy, right? This is like the 3rd time that the exact same move happens. Normally the 3rd time's the charm, but apparently now it works every single time. Oof. Man, this is so many SCV losses right now. TY kind of dropping the ball there, going for a beautiful push inside of the main base. He's actually going to continue pushing here. He's going to be able to get the spawning pool. At the same time, he's going for a push in the northern section of the map too. He starts up the spawning pool right now, but that's in the natural. That one's also very, very close by. Baneling Nest also falls, and he did not go for another Baneling Nest. So that means he has to first up finish up the spawning pool, which takes a surprising amount of time. And then he's finally going to be able to start up... Oh my god, he's losing the Spire too! Okay, well, Armani just lost all of his tech. Yeah, okay. You can see he's starting to pile on the resources, but there's nothing he can make. Can't make Spines, can't make Spores, can't make Queens, can't make Zerglings, can't make Banelings, can't make Mutas. That's quite literally everything. So apparently that will be enough to force the GG. Alrighty, so here we go. Final game in his best of 3 series is on Eternal Empire. Score? It's 1-1, Maddox. Have you not been watching the video? Oh, wait. Wait, hold up. He's not been watching the video because he already casted these games in the past. I'm basically in the future right now, okay? Although, by the time that you guys are watching this, obviously I already know the result as well because I edited and actually recorded the video. So, while I'm in the future for Maddox, I'm in the past for you guys. Oh my god. The whole timeline is messed up, man. I don't even know what side is up anymore. Should I be tilting my monitor upside down? Is that how people in Australia watch my videos? Okay, I'll shut up. Here we go. Final map in his best of 3 series is, interestingly enough, Eternal Empire. So, I guess Armani likes this map, which is kind of curious. It seems like most of the Zerg players out there don't really like this map so much. Main reason being is that if your 3rd base gets blocked, there's really no other location where you can take it. But I guess Armani has a trick up his sleeve if that were to be the case. I know actually, like, so personally, I absolutely hate it whenever my 3rd base gets blocked. Terran players on this map, like I said, right, like, you could technically take it over here, but that's way too far away, and that's expanding towards the Terran player. So if this base gets blocked, you're kind of forced into a 2-base scenario. The thing is, interestingly enough, both Maru and Innovation, who are widely considered to be the top 2 Terran players in the world, they are not bothered by blocking the 3rd base at all. They don't care. They just let the Zerg players take this one uncontested. Maybe TY is doing the same thing as well. I don't really know. We'll see if he decides to send that SCV just straight to the natural and then to the 3rd base and then home, or if he just simply, you know, hangs out over at the 3rd base to try and block it. I kind of hope he goes for that last option. That way, I could maybe learn something from this game too. Because, yeah, I'd be interested to see how someone like Armani responds to that. So he sees right now... Okay, yeah, there you go. So he could have decided to go straight back home right now. Not quite going to be the case. So he is going to block the third base. So what exactly does Armani do at this point? He makes 6 Zerglings, more so than the 4 that's conventional. Okay. But, like, notice here, he's not going to be able... Maybe he's just going to, like, inject with the queens and then just move them over there and just take the third base a little bit later. Which is a very common approach, but it just... I don't know. It always seems to throw me off my game quite a bit. This is 6 Zerglings, though, which is quite interesting. It's a heavy amount of links. Nice little skirmish here between the Reaper and then also those units. Okay, so he's going to go Tumor with the Queen in the natural. There we go. Queen in the main base did inject. And I guess right now, Brenda over here, off creep, she's going to start walking in the direction of the third base. Yeah, I guess he's fine with this. All right. That was very clean. I know it makes it, like top-level players, they make it look so obvious. It's like, yeah, of course, that's what you do, Lowko. You idiot. The thing is, it's so easy. I don't think that would add you idiot to that. But, like, it's so easy to accidentally mess that up and to find yourself with, like, you know, just the slightest of supply blocks or a bunch of idle larvae. Or say they decided to go for the engineering bay block over here instead. Do you just send in the Zerglings? And I don't know, like, if you wouldn't have weakened that Reaper so much, right? Because that Reaper took, like, 7 spines to the face and then also the Lynx got a little bit of a nibble at it. If that wouldn't have been the case, wouldn't he have been able to, like, harass that for even longer? And then sometimes the queens are out there off creep and then they miss an inject cycle. And, like, the whole game comes grumbling down very, very quickly. Anyways. This is nice. Armani with the big brain moves. There you go. He sees the timing right there of that third gas. Now, that is huge. It's going to be a battlecruiser opener right now from TY. The only real time when Terran players go for that gas so quickly over there is when they go for a battlecruiser opener. So, the fusion core is already coming up here for TY. This does mean that Armani can start the perfect defense. I mean, I'm assuming at this point that he puts 1-on-1 together. I mean, he definitely does, right? Roach Warren coming up. Double gas is being taken here as well. Normal timing, if you're not sure what it is the Terran player is going for the Spore Crawlers, is 4.5 minutes on the Spores. In this particular case, though, yeah, he sees the production right here as well on that starport or lack thereof. There it is. Now it starts up and you see the little thingy in the center dip down. This is a great example of what a battlecruiser opener looks like to a Zerg player. So he doesn't need to start up those spores until maybe like a couple of seconds from now, which is pretty sick. Roach Warren coming up too. So I think that this is going to be some Roach Corruptor plays here in the earlier stages of the game. TY has been showcasing pure bio armies so far. He's going to shortly add on either additional factories or additional barracks. Yep, okay. I was going to say there's no tech lab yet on that barracks, so it is going to be additional factories right now added into the mix instead, which I like a lot. Notice, by the way, only just now, like 5 minutes and 20 seconds, is when the Spore Crawlers actually start up. If this would have been a Banshee opener or a Liberator opener or anything along those lines, he would have been in a lot of trouble. So that little scout right there of the main base and then obviously that gas geyser before that. They really allow this Zerg player to be ultimately as greedy as he possibly can be. Because right now, I mean, we're at like 6 minutes. He's already pretty much fully saturated on his bases. A couple of roaches here added into the mix as well. Now, the Terran player did teleport the battlecruiser across. So probably what he wants to go for is a push inside of the main base and then the Hellions in a location where the queens are not. Spire, though, is like 80% of the way done already. It is going to be a second battlecruiser. I love it. So a heavy battlecruiser focus right here in the third game of this series. Very cool. Right now, it seems to be common to either go for 1 or 3 battlecruisers. Although recently, I have seen a bunch of Terran players go for more than that. Here we go, Hellions! They get some decent damage in. 7 worker kills, though. It's nothing really to write home about, but it's nice, right? If you, I mean, could keep that battlecruiser alive. Spire is done, though. Tactical jump is actually quite a while away. I'm surprised he hasn't started up. Okay, there we go. He finally starts up a couple of Corruptors right now. He could probably get the kill right there on the battlecruiser. Although, at this point, Corruptors take quite a while to produce. I think that Technical Jump, yeah, it will definitely be off cooldown by the time that this Battlecruiser is going to be in a world of trouble. Alrighty. Oh my god, a second starport. Hold up. This was spotted. Is this going to be mass Battlecruiser? Why would you go second starport? He's got just three barracks, or what are they called? Factories right now, and he's already going second starport. That is odd. Is he gonna add a tech lab on that thing too? Yeah, he is. Oh my god, is this double Battlecruiser production? I think it is. I think it must be, right? Like, he's still producing more. He's going for the third one right now. Blue Flame Hellions are coming up here as well. So, TY, I mean, he would be in trouble against, like, a timing attack from the Zerg player. So, say, like, this is going to be a timing attack with Roaches and Corruptors, right? Like, you could certainly try and hit a timing like that. Zerg could probably overwhelm this. The thing is, Armani already showcased to us earlier in the series that he's fond of making that really, really large amount of workers. And then, you know, you finally start producing army after that. That is the standard approach right now at the pro level when it comes to dealing with a mech army. But, I really like this. Yeah, there we go. Double Battlecruiser production there on the tap. That's so sick. Double armory coming up as well. This is very greedy, though. Fourth command center is just simply flying on over to the fourth base. TY, in a way, is a little lucky here that the Zerg is completely leaving him alone. Now, obviously, he's buying himself time with these Battlecruisers, right? He's not just, like, sending out these Battlecruisers willy-nilly. He's forcing the Zerg player to stay at home. One Battlecruiser also over at the fourth base here. And he's probably just going to teleport. There we go. Goodbye. And this bought him like a valuable 30 seconds or so to get another like production cycle out, right? Which is huge. Because, well, ultimately this Terran army is going to be so much more powerful than that of the Zerg. I am a little bit concerned though for this location right over here. Would love to see a sensor tower in this area. So he could actually position his structures in such a way that they can't just, well, get overwhelmed all of a sudden. The Terran mech army, of course, very, very immobile. And I guess even though they can teleport around, they can only do so once a minute or so. Hello, TY, wakey wakey. Gotta get yourself those upgrades going, my man. He's actually very late on those. Finally starts them up right now. If you look at the Evo Chamber upgrades at the same time. I mean, where's the other one? There you go. Already +2 is like 80% of the way done. And that's when 1-1 starts. That seems insane to me. That is, like, upgrades are so huge in StarCraft. Especially for units that attack fast. Like, for example, Battlecruisers. Little missiles every single time, and then, you know, every single missile gets +1 damage from, you know, every single upgrade that you get. So, it's very noticeable. That being said, right now, how are you going to break this, right? Zerg is not likely to run in and just go around killing stuff. This is a very, very nicely turtled up position here for TY. And I don't really see this being broken anytime soon. This is 6 Battlecruisers. Look at those bad boys. If I can talk like a boomer for a second. A StarCraft boomer, okay? I remember the days. Back in my day, we used to mine 8 minerals a trip. No, wait, no. We used to start with 4 workers. Back in my day, Battlecruisers were only ever used to, like, BM the opponent, okay? People would just bad manner with them. That was the main usage right there of Battlecruisers. These days, they're actually, like, a menacing force. And some people argue that they are too strong. I don't know if they are, but I am glad to see that Battlecruisers are still popular in StarCraft 2. Like, obviously, we saw them a lot over, like, the last year or so. But before then, I mean, it was, like, 8-9 years of never seeing a Battlecruiser unless it was, like, someone styling on their opponent. Man, I'm glad to see Battlecruisers actually being popular. Look at this, by the way. He's maxed out and adds on 4 additional command centers. What in the world? This is gonna be one hell of a Terran army here. Now, obviously, I've been focusing a lot of my attention here on the Terran player. I really do want to emphasize those upgrades, though. Because Zerg is gonna be, like, miles ahead when it comes to those upgrades. And it adds up very quickly. Look at this. +3 is started before +2 is started. Once again, TY... I don't know if he just finished it or what, but he was a little bit slow there with those upgrades in general. When you start 2-2 and your opponent is starting up the +3 upgrades already, that adds up very, very quickly. He's now also going for a second Spire, so that will allow Armani to continue upgrading here too. Whatever he is. Okay, yeah, he's already got +2 flyer weapons as well. That is massive, man. He could come in with a huge army and just overwhelm the Terran player and make those Terran units not even look that strong. Well, I don't know if this army is going to be the one. Battle cruisers, though. Oh, okay. A little bit early. He tried to go in for the alley-oop. Is it called an alley-oop? Anyways, he tried to land the biles as the battle cruisers were jumping back in the air. A little bit too early, though. At this point, the battle cruisers obviously have their tactical jump on cooldown. This is 14 Corruptors. 14 Corruptors plow through those Terran units really fast. And that's a dead command center for sure, right? Ooh, well, I mean, well, actually, he could have probably saved it. At the same time, though, Zerg is also moving here on the left-hand side of the map. Infestors are being added into the mix here, too. So, Neural Parasites will be the name of the game. He's got that upgrade researched as well. Oh, my God. Well, he doesn't even need it, though. This is an awful lot of damage here being done. There is a missile turret over there. Missile turrets are detectors. So he may have spotted a glimpse right there of those infestors. Once again, though, good backup right there by the Zerg. Keeping those infestors safe. And another command center falls. Okay. So the House of Cards is starting to come down, man. I'm starting to be a little bit worried here for TY. Obviously, he does still have a great economy, but his upgrades are starting to fall behind. He's now producing 5 Thors at once. Now, obviously, if this game goes on for like another 5 to 10 minutes... those upgrades will be completely negligible, right? At that point, everyone's gonna have all the upgrades done. One Corruptor gets the final hit right there on one of those battle cruisers. Battle cruisers don't need it at home as well. Oh my God! Here come the infestors! Your battle cruisers are Zerg now, man. Ay ay ay! What's the best counter right there to Thors? Apparently, it's battle cruisers. Look at the battle cruisers fighting each other right now. It's kind of sad. With tactical jump off cooldown. That is a lot of dead Terran units there. Oh my God. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, that is a disaster. Now all of a sudden, of all of those cool battle cruisers that I was so hyped about earlier, none of them remain. It's gonna be Liberators that will be the name of the game now instead, but... when it comes to dealing with infestors, your best bet is scanning to see that they are located there in the first place, right? Because if that was the case, I can guarantee you that TY would have not been so reckless positioning those battle cruisers. Since he didn't know that there were infestors out in the field. I mean, constantly, every single time he was about to use the infestors, he moved them forward. But he moved them around very, very cautiously, making sure that they were not spotted until, well, they basically got their neural parasites off, right? Infestors, they're a bit of like a surprise unit. Now that he knows that they're out there, it's gonna be easier for him to defend against this kind of stuff. By the way, it's a Brute Lord change. This is 11 Brute Lords right now going up against 5 Thors, with additional Thors coming up here very quickly. Neural Parasite also fantastic against those Thors, obviously, but this position at this point is gonna be very, very, very strong here for the Terran player. That being said, though, yeah, the Brutes are being transfused there in the back as well. Love the fact that the Queens are actually pulled away from their hatcheries, getting a whole bunch of work done. I think actually another base may have gone down over there too. And at the same time, he's also burrowing at other locations. Insane multitasking here going on by both players. This base, though, is gonna be in some trouble. I mean, at this point, just kill it, please. Alright, there we go. And this is where that immobility becomes a problem. I really do believe that if a Zerg player plays perfectly, Terran mech is inferior. It's just that it's very, very hard for a Zerg player to not make mistakes in those scenarios. And I gotta be honest with you, man. We're watching Armani play here, right? Like, this is not Dark, this is not Raynor, this is not Serral, this is not Sue, this is not Solar. Like, this is a name that a lot of people are not necessarily so familiar with. I'm very, very impressed with the way that he's handling against, handling himself against someone that's literally won the GSL Code S just a couple weeks ago. Beautiful Blinding Clouds right there as well. He's now handling an insane amount of control groups here. Handling all 3 spellcasters that Zerg has, with Infestors, Vipers, and then obviously those Queens. The Brutes right now pushing forward. Generally speaking, Thors, they're considered to be the counter against Brute Lords, but not if the Zerg player has control of them. And obviously, if you can Blinding Cloud them, that's huge as well. At the same time, he's also pushing right here on the bottom, or in the bottom right corner of the map. Additional Brute Lords are being morphed in on top of that Terran base. Very aggressive positioning here. This is Armani saying, yo, get out of my game. I don't want to see you here anymore. These brutes are going to pop in just a little bit. And while there's 2 Thors with a dream, the Zerglings are overrunning all of those bases. A Ravager here on the high ground. Armani, this is beautiful. He is playing some beautiful StarCraft. He's showing us how you need to dismantle this, man. Very, very well done. I think in the long run, GG is gold. I think in the long run, Terran mech will probably fall out of favor. It's not that the Terran mech army is not powerful. It's not that they can't harass or that they don't have enough options. But if the game is stretched, right, and the Terran player is forced to take bases that are pretty far apart, the Zerg player with their speed and momentum, right, they just run around and hit in several different angles. And since the Terran army is just not that fast, they just get like out-positioned constantly. And since Zerg can just simply go up to like 100 workers and not really be too contested there. Yeah, maybe they lose a bunch of drones, but they will just like replace those right away. They don't have to take efficient trades, and they can just continuously keep on sending wave after wave of armies. So I think in the long run, on this balance patch, over like the next couple of months, I think we're probably going to be seeing less mech. There certainly is potential, but if the Zerg player plays really well, I don't really see how Terran mech is going to obtain the victory in a lot of those circumstances. Now, maybe I'm wrong, though. I hope I'm wrong, because I love seeing the variety. The diversity in the strategies is one of my main, loves of the Zerg versus Terran matchup. So I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways, for now, I hope you enjoyed watching this series. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. Special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for all of your generosity. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.